5-minute quick brief videos to do with different concepts you can use in your trading to better your trades. First of all, we're going to be talking about fair value gaps. Now, I suppose, what are they? Essentially, they're impulsive moves that create imbalances that act as magnets. So as you can see here, price impulsively moves down and creates this gap here. It's essentially the gap between it's between 3 candles, where it's the gap between the first and the third one. So as you can see, gap was created here, we move down, price comes up to fill the gap, and we move lower again. Now, how can you actually use this? Well, you can use them in 2 different ways. Fair value gaps act obviously as magnets. So if you spot a fair value gap, you can start scaling into long positions, assuming price is moving down. And you can then exit once the fair value gap is filled. Now, fair value gaps also act as sort of like support and resistance in a way, like price tends to bounce from it. So if you see a fair value gap is filled, you can possibly assume, based on other indications you've got, you need to use it with other indicators, you can possibly assume that this move was solely to fill this gap and will head down. So therefore you can perhaps start scaling into short positions. Well, obviously the opposite applies if price is moving up. Fair value gaps can be created on either trend. And I'm just going to show you now some real life examples of this. So if we head into Bitcoin chart, although this is not entirely reliable for crypto, I find it more successful in FX, it still does work. I actually use an indicator because, especially in crypto, things can be messy, and this indicator makes it quite easy to view these gaps. Now, as you can see here, look at this. Most clear one is the fair value gaps created down here. And if you also have any idea of supply and demand, you could have also used this as confluence. Now, I was actually looking to long 30.6, so it barely skimmed my entry, but I'd imagine price is going to move back up from here. And you could say, well, we're creating demand. Yeah, we will get into this in another video. Or you could say, here's our FVG. Price moves up and moves straight down to fill these FVGs. Look what happens afterwards. We begin to gravitate back up. Now, you can also see here, we created a big FVG here, and this single candle took about half of this. So, although I don't find them too successful in crypto, they do still work. See, the indicator only goes back a certain length, but I'm sure if we go on to the 4 hour, do you have a really good example of one on the daily? As you can see here, we have a huge FVG created between this candle and this candle, and price moves up. You can see there's a few other ones created in between. We move back down, and you can use perhaps the support confluence here. We have a bit of a retest, fill this FVG, and look, we move up. Now, as I say, the reason why I say that they're not too reliable is because look how many FVGs we created here that were not filled. Look at this FVG here that is still not filled. We have FVGs going back to the first bull run that are only taken now. It won't go back far enough, but like all these are FVGs, and look, we're only getting taken now. However, on FX, you'll see you will have much more success using FVG gaps. Although there's still ones created here on the weekly, ones on the hourly tend to be taken pretty consistently. Look at this alone. We have impulsive moves up, FVG created, 3/4 of it taken, and we move back up. FVGs taken on the move down and then filled. I'd say we have a fairly high chance of seeing these becoming filled as well. The same here, we have FVGs created there, here, all filled. We almost took this one, we took a very small amount, but you can see FVGs here, especially in FX, do tend to be taken very quickly. Now, something like the dollar yen perhaps is not as reliable, but look, they are quite reliable. Like, look at this. We created a huge one here that was almost taken out instantly. Now, if you want to find this indicator, just type in ICT imbalance and you should find it. Now, I hope this was of benefit. I hope this gave you a brief understanding into FVG gaps, and I hope you enjoyed the video.